Hey guys, today I am going to discuss about very new book and very new topic, that is magnetic materials. And in this book, we'll discuss all about magnetization, magnetic properties, their fundamentals, their applications, their everything about that magnetic materials. So this is a book by Nicola A. Spalding, and we can see that this is a University of Cambridge book. Upload all the lecture series on this topic and in this book. So this is basically a Nicola S. Spalding, University of California. So in our very first lecture, I'm going to discuss about the very basic about magnetic materials. So here we will start that what is basically a magnetic field and magnetic poles. So let's begin by defining the magnetic field. As we know that magnetic field is denoted by H. In terms of magnetic poles, that we have two poles, one pole is north and the other one is south, and this is in the order in which things happen historically. The law of interaction between magnetic poles was discovered by Michael in England in 1750. So this is basically a law of interaction, that how two poles interact with each other in magnetic materials, how magnetic materials interact with each other by magnetic poles. And by Coulomb, we all know about Coulomb's law of attraction and repulsion. So Coulomb gave his law in France in 1785. A few decades before, magnetism was linked to the flow of electric current. Before these theories, it was considered that magnetic materials are linked just for the flow of electric current and nothing else. So these gentlemen found empirically that the force between two magnetic poles basically are proportional to the product of their pole strength. We can given the name P or Q or E or anything else depend on the poles we have considering, and inversely proportional to the state of the distance between those poles, those charges, and anything else. So mathematically we can describe this term as F is directly proportional to P1 P2 over R square. So this is basically a Coulomb's law of forces in terms of their magnetic poles. So this is analogous to Coulomb's law for electric charges. For electric charges we can put here Q1 Q2 or E1 anything else, with one important difference. Scientists believe that single magnetic pole does not exist. We all know about this is a very important MCQ point here, that single magnetic poles do not exist. They can, however, be approximated by one end of a very long bar magnet. So this is also the possibility in one pole magnet. Even if we have a very long bar magnet that have only single pole, and that long bar magnet will also not exist, which is how the experiment was carried out. By convention, the end of your freely suspended bar magnet which points towards magnetic north is called the north pole, and the opposite one is called the south pole. So in CGS units, the constant of proportionality will be as we will equal this, and we will put a constant of proportionality later. So here R is in the centimeters, F4 is in the dynes. So this equation 1.2 around give us the definition of pole strength. We can also relate in this term of magnetic field strength. So basically a pool of unit strength or single strength is one which exerts a force of one dyne on another unit pole located at a distance of 1 centimeter. So if we have a unit pole that is located at the distance of 1 centimeter from the another pole, having a force of one dyne, then the strength of that pole will be 1. So the unit of pole strength does not have a name in CGS system. So in SI system, the constant proportionality all we know about will be equals to K, and K is equal to 4 or 4 pi. 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, that is reciprocal of mu naught. So we will put here after the removing the proportionality sign. So here mu naught is called the permeability of free space. So we all discuss this topic in free space. We are not considering any material inside that poles. So we are basically discuss free of space. Then mu naught will be equal to, mu naught is a permeability, and it has the value of 4 pi 10 raised to power minus 7 Weber per ampere meter. Weber per ampere meter. And in SI units, the pole strength is measured in ampere meter. The unit of force is of course the Newton, and 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to power 5 Dan. And very short we can put here dyn. So these things are very important to consider here. The value of mu naught, that is 4 pi 10 raised to minus 7, and the unit is Weber per ampere and meter. So in SI units, the pole strength is ampere meter, AM. The unit of force is of course Newton, but we consider here a Dan also, and 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to the power 5 Dan. This is important for MCQs. So here there is the figure showing between that how a magnetic field pole act like practically. So we all know that a field lines begin to flow from north pole and end on south pole. You can see here and there also. Okay, so to understand what caused the force, we can think of the first pole generating a magnetic field H, which is exerts a force on the second pole. So first field is generating a field lines, and that field line generating a magnetic field H, and these lines exert to force on the second pole. This is how magnetic field created. So we can see that F is equal to this is P1 that is generating a magnetic field, P1 over R state over into P2, and here we are considering P1 over R square is equal to H by definition. So we will put H into P2 here. So a field of unit strength is one which exerts a force of 1 dyne on a unit pole. So here we are considering field of unit strength will be equal to 1 which exerts a force of F 1 dyne on a unit pole. By convention, the north pole is the source of the magnetic field, that is north pole, and the south pole is a sink, that is receiving that magnetic field lines. So we can sketch the magnetic field lines around a bar magnet as shown in figure here. So this is all the discussion about the unit of magnetic field are basically Oersted. This is very important to know. In CGS units, we consider magnetic field unit is Oersted. So a field of unit strength has an intensity of 1 Oersted. If in the SI system, the analogous equation for the force one pole exerts on another is. So we will discuss again that mathematical terms. F equal to mu naught of 4 pi P1 Oersted into P2, and here we will consider mu naught P1 over R2 over 4 pi is equal to H into P2. So here by expression we can see that H is equal to 1 over 4 pi P1 over R. So this whole term will be equal to H in units of ampere per meter. So here we consider that 1 Oersted is equal to 1000 or 4 pi into A or M, ampere per meter. So here is basically a very basic example. The Earth's magnetic field has an intensity of around 1/10 of an Oersted. 1 over 10 into Oersted has the intensity of Earth's magnetic field, and the field at the end of a typically kindergarten toy ball magnet is around 5000 Oersted. So what is Oersted? This is basically a unit of magnetic field in terms of CGS units. So this is a very basic discussion about magnetic field, magnetic field lines, magnetic poles, and about that Oersted, and something about magnetic field strength. So in next topic we will discuss about magnetic flux. What is basically a magnetic flux? If you have confusion, please feel free to ask me. Thank you.